Hi everybody, welcome to Season 5, Episode 21 of the Hard Truth Inside the Football Industry podcast with me, Philip Ideson, and Darragh MacAnthony, the chairman and owner of Peterborough United. And we were just talking before we came online here, you're a week in Dubai, you've got 3 wins.
Grey whiskers,
You're
looking
the part.
I look the shovels, tourist on holiday, So it's been. I think I'll have to stay out here if we keep winning. Do you know what I mean? I'll be extended. There'll be an expensive extension, but well worth it. And
you got a game on Tuesday. So we're recording this on Monday as usual. So you got a game on Tuesday as well this week.
We got a game tomorrow night. Yep. I won't be flying back late Thursday night. So, but I'll be hitting the barbers obviously Thursday anyway. So, but apologies for my vagrant look. You know what I mean? So it's been a matter since when did we last speak? Last Tuesday.
It was last Monday or last Tuesday. So because your EFL game was Wednesday, wasn't it? So it's probably last Tuesday morning.
You had a great win that Tuesday night, didn't you? And then we played on a Wednesday. Yeah. So it's been well, listen, you guys just win all the time now, so it's kind of like second nature, right?
It's been wins all around for the last week or so. So if anyone wonders why we're both happy at the start of the podcast today.
Well, I mean the Disney Blockbuster on Wednesday was great. Yeah, that was like the highlight of my holiday. That was superb to witness.
Yeah, so he had Wrexham away, EFL semi-final, EFL Trophy semi-final, 2-0 down after 30 minutes.
An absolute joke. We dominated. I mean, I think you watched the game as well. No, it was like
I watched some of it. Yeah.
It was like I'd made a joke after the game about domination, and obviously caught a few people with my fishing comments, and somebody, in fairness, responded and put up the statistics. It was domination. I mean, I was delighted how we played. We played really well. We were a little bit fur coat, no knickers in the final third. But like we had 70% possession, we had like 20 shots, and in the first half, and it was great because like we had 2 teenagers playing at full back. It was 3 of the back 4 academy produced. And because obviously we had players that were cup tied from Huddersfield, that great clean sheet to go into that game. But I thought we played like we did against Huddersfield. We were thinking, right, we've not cracked it, but we now have the identity what we've played with before: dominate the ball, with pace, create chances. And I thought, right, I'm really liking what I'm watching. I thought we were going to give Wrexham a good scene to, and did.
Yeah.
Then 2 stupid errors again, and we're 2-0 down, and it's like, oh my god, it's like going back 5 months or a few months, So, and then you're 2-0 down, and then you're thinking, okay, you're away at Wrexham. We haven't, beaten them all season. We've just always, continually lose to them, and Sky, the EFL, Paramount Plus, Disney, everyone's going to get what they wanted, which is the Brady Reynolds Cup final, So to be fair to the manager, he didn't change it a lot at half time, and I think his message was pretty clear: just go out and do the same thing, get the next goal. Malik scored late. I think it was like 20 minutes to go or whatever, or 25 minutes. Penalty, awful first penalty. Follow up, he got in. And then you're thinking, and I'll be honest with you, you go into when injury time comes up, I'm like, they've had 2 players down. They've had multiple substitutions, and the ref puts 4 fucking minutes up.
Yeah.
And again, if that was us leading 2-1, it'd be fucking 10 minutes. And I think it was the 92nd, 93rd minute, I was actually typing a message to the manager. Because usually I'll send him a message after the game, and then we'll speak about an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
And my message was like, look, really, really proud. The lads have been fantastic all night. Didn't deserve to lose that game. A little bit fur coat, no knickers in the final third. Because our wingers had lots of the ball, but just that final ball. And then obviously fucking Brad pops up with the goal. Do you know what I mean? As I've typed it out, and I'm about to press send with a whistle going full time. And then I'm like that. Shall I delete that text? So I'm delete the text. And then obviously we go to penalties, and to be fair, I missed 2 of the penalties because the internet's not the best in Dubai, and I started buffering. So then I'm trying to get other laptops open and other devices to try and get back on, And obviously, Jed Steer was brilliant in the penalty shootout, and fair play to him. And to see like 19-year-old Harley Mills take one like a champ, it was great. And really good penalties. I think Malik missed one, and then obviously Mullins missed for them, and then obviously Hector had to step up and put it away. And I must have been behind because I think at that stage my missus was in bed at the time. She comes rolling out of the bedroom. So, it's just, there's only a reason
She
for
knew
that,
what happened before
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
watching.
Yeah. So yeah, no, listen, to get back to Wembley, to have a chance to defend the title, the battle of the champions. Birmingham, last time they were in this trophy, won it. So I guess it's like the champions final. And Barry Fry was the manager of Birmingham last time they won
Yeah.
it. So all those little things. But no, I was like, listen, fair play to them. Spoke to the manager. Did you get any champagne? Because usually what happens is when we beat Swindon in the semis, they sent down a box of champagne. We got beaten in the semis once. We sent champagne to somebody as well. And he was like, no. And I said, well, maybe stop and buy them a beer on the way home, because we stayed up over for the night to recover. And he was like, they'll have one drink and that's it. And I was like, okay, Saturday's an important game. I understand. I get it. Really, really happy for them. It was great for the fans, because our fans have been like, they've almost been abused most of the season with some of the stuff that's happened, and, the football hasn't been as good. And so for them to go all the way to Wales to get rewarded with a dramatic win like that, I'm sure the Sky people behind the scenes in the EFL towers, there were plates breaking and glasses breaking, It's just like, so that was, but listen, good luck to Wrexham in their promotion run in, and, win promotion, get out of our league with Birmingham. So, but we would deserve it. Like, that would have been a fucking travesty. If they'd won that fucking game, where they basically, I think we were in their box 33 times. They were in our box 9 times in 100 minutes. Like, it was one-way traffic. So, and again,
And
great
2-0,
confidence.
yeah, given your away form, and
Yeah,
obviously you just turned that around at Huddersfield, but then to follow that up with I know after 90 minutes 2-2, but coming back from 2-0 down with your away form, you could completely understand if all the heads went down again, and it's like, here we go
they
again.
didn't. I think they're all realizing. I think it's a good vibe now. I think they're all realizing the severity where they are. I think the pennies dropped the last like 10 days. I think, there's a camaraderie, there's a spirit about wanting to win the cup, wanting to finish really high up the league, wanting to basically like put all those, hadn't won away since August. Bang, we've done it twice in the space of 4 days. We hadn't won back-to-back games, I think, since August. Well, beating Wycombe on Saturday, that's back-to-back wins in the league. I think we hadn't scored more than 1 goal in 11 league games in a row, which is very unlike us. Put that to bed on Saturday. So moving past all those issues, not letting injuries that have just blighted us all season bother us, seeing players like Brad against Wrexham, the wingers, the contribution from players that maybe have been written off. And so it was great for the lads. And the only thing I was worried about was, would they be tired come Saturday? Would there be like, maybe young players get too big for their boots, and we've cracked it, and suddenly you shit the bed at home? Because I knew we had a big crowd on Saturday. I think we had like 12,000. So I was worried that, would we show up? Would we be lackluster? Because this season's been a bit, But to be fair to the manager, I think he had them nailed on. His staff had them all recover well. We obviously paid for them to stay up there. They came back. They got some rest, trained Friday. Then we played Wycombe on Saturday. No, it was not Wycombe. Sorry, I keep saying Wycombe. It was Gareth Ainsworth. We played Shrewsbury on Saturday. And again, they were probably licking their lips thinking, well, the way Peterborough defend, we're going to batter them, physical, that kind of thing, but if you kind of look at us the last few games, we played Stevenage, who were a bit that way and had no issues. And, even Charlton, who were very direct, we didn't really have that many issues. And defensive, dare I say, touch wood, we've looked stronger for that, like Huddersfield, same thing, the Wrexham thing, a couple of mistakes anomaly, but again, set pieces, corners, you're not sitting there, oh my God, like that, so there has been
for the penny to drop.
There's been a real resilience on those mistakes we've kept making and those issues we've had and whatever. And you're seeing improvement slowly but sure. You're not seeing a load of clean sheets, but you're seeing improvement. You're seeing a desire to want to defend. You're seeing a desire to try and keep clean sheets. And with that, you're now seeing them all playing out from the back. Whereas if you go back to Charlton, it was try and keep a clean sheet and let's just boot the ball up the pitch, and we don't want to dominate possession, and it wasn't pretty to watch. So I think you're seeing the players trying to put it all together, and you're seeing a lot of players who've maybe been criticised this season, new signings who have been given the luxury of to bed in time, like a lot of other players would maybe over a couple of year period, and they're starting to come to the forefront and starting to show, starting to, I think, not crack it, but they're good players, and I know they can play at this level. We don't recruit dogs. We don't recruit shitters. We have over 20-year period with nearly an 80% recruitment success rate. There's a whole statistical table designed, of all the players, and I've seen it, and I think the football average is 52%, 56%, and we're nearly up at 80% if you call a player where you don't lose money and a player has played X games for you and been a success. So, you know, yeah. And then Shrewsbury, obviously the game kicks off and I'm just sat down and obviously John Marquis gives us a gift. And then there's part of me thinking, oh, fuck, like, please don't let us shit the bed against 10 men when you're fighting a team
the
around
whole
you.
approach to the game changes after 15 seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, but as much as you want to play against 10 men, the other side of you is they become really dogged and really like, and a team like Shrewsbury, who their goalie, you know, hits 90-yard goal kicks into the fucking box because, you know, and I have no problem with that. You got to do what you got to do that suits the players and manager you have. And you're thinking, Jesus. And that was it then after that. You know, we scored. Then they put a ball into our box. As I said, it was recycled into the box. Jed, to be fair to him, he's done it really well recently. He's come out to catch it and, you know, he dominated his box. And he's made a mistake, and I have no problem with the mistake, but I want my goalkeeper to come and catch balls, not just punch them, you know. And obviously the Swedes giving away a penalty. And then obviously after that, then there was one more nervous moment where the Swede gets turned inside out, a ball over the top again, and probably a penalty for Shrewsbury. I don't know what he was bloody thinking, you know, our player. And we then go score. And then you go in at half time, and we've dealt with most of the long balls and the balls into our box, but you're still thinking, oh, I'm nervous here, and the crowd are nervous, and we've nearly 12,000 fans, and, you know, all those kind of things. And I'll be honest with you, for like 30 minutes, we dominated the second half. I mean, we must have had 6 one-on-ones. We must have had so many opportunities to basically absolutely score a hatful. And you get to the 90th minute, and to be fair to Ainsworth, and he's a brave manager, he brings on strikers, and you know what's coming. And then
it's just relentless.
Yeah, 10 minutes comes up on the board. And you're just like, right, shit. You know, like this is like got disaster written all fucking over it, you know what I mean? And to be fair, Ibby, who was brilliant in the game, was his best game for us, basically blocked a 50-50, took the ball down. And what might have been 5 months ago where he'd throw the ball across the goal with no kind of player in sight, and then they break on us, he waits and he waits and he waits. And Con Clark, who I was delighted for him and his family, got his first goal. So to see players like Ibby, double assists, I think he's got 5-6 assists in League One, you know, starting to show he belongs at this level. He belongs as a posh winger. Keane Hayes is starting to, I'm seeing things in this kid where I'm thinking, I thought to myself a few months ago, Keane's got something and he'd be a great squad player. I'm now starting to see this kid's actually got a lot of skill. I'm watching him taking on seasoned League One left backs, turn them inside out, find space in tight areas, use his pace. And like in the game, he's had 2 chances where he's beaten 3 of their players. And you're thinking, right, fucking that left peg of yours with power, give it a, and he fucking passes it. And, you know, I forget Keane, I think again, it's like 21. I think there's a seriously good player in Keane. And if he has a bit of belief in himself, he could be, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So, from that perspective, with Ibby, Keane, Con Clark's now got his first goal. Brad's a fucking nuisance. I think he irritates away fans. I think he's the type of player we haven't had for a long time. I know he's had a lot of stop starts because he's been fucking useless in the 21s. I think he's driven all the management staff mad with that. But I think they're all realising when he's played in the first team, he's never let us down. Against Wrexham the other night, I think he's a character. I think we forget how young he is. And he came from Colchester at 19, turned 20 with us. And I think as he matures, he's going to realise that when you play 21s and you're there for a reason to get minutes and fitness, you owe it to the players you play with to be as good as you were on the first team. And I think that's a maturity. And I actually like him. I think he's got something about him. He's got a bit of the old spunk in him. You know, that kind of just irritates people. But he's technically, I'll tell you what I like what I see in him. Balls drilled into him. Doesn't bounce off. He's technically very capable. He's very strong. He runs in behind. Again, I think we've got one there. And I think lots of that's happening now where you're thinking next year. Whereas before, maybe a month ago, you're going to the summer going, well, you know, are they going to stay? Are they good at... Now there's some players like really showing that actually they can do this at this level. So but I'm going to give special praise to the back line because I thought Sam Hughes fucking headed everything like an absolute monster. He was like a truck back there against Shrewsbury, and he had to be, particularly after he got elbowed in the mush early on.
And they brought they just had Vidane Oliver as well, the Shrewsbury from us.
He was on
8, just put something on his head.
They're all physical, and Teo, the left back, he was brilliant on Saturday again. he got in some good positions. I think you look at him and go, more games, he's going to create more. Needs to polish up on his set pieces, even though he scored from one. But I like his personality. And James Dornelly has been a revelation since CJ went down with a hamstring, where we're thinking, fuck, JD's been kind of up and down. He's been, the last 3 games, he's played in all. And I'd said to the manager before the Huddersfield game, if you look at some of our big wins, I think you and your staff forget JD was in a lot of those games. Like we sometimes get on top of our young players when they have a bad game, but he's played in a lot of the big wins. And what you're seeing from him in the week of wins is he's strong, he's physical, he's now overlapping, he's getting into the final third. This kid's 19. He's played like, I don't know, 15 games. There's a reason Premier League clubs are trying to buy him. There's a reason he's in the under 20 team. And I think we just sometimes we lose we're just impatient sometimes with some of our young players. Same with Harley Mills. Harley Mills came in and played left back again on Wednesday against Wrexham. He was up against the best right winger in the league. Bar one cross, he can give him a sniff. And Harley's another one where you can see players where you think they're going to have good careers is if they got something. Forget about technical, forget about all that. Have they got something? You always know in a player. You'll see it from your young players at the moment. Have they got something? Have they got a bit of backbone? Have they got a bit of aggression? Have they got a bit of bollocks to them? Have they got a bit of, a little bit of arrogance to them?
Yeah.
Don't hide. Have a shit game. Come back and play a good game as young players do. And I'm liking what I'm seeing in lots of these young players. I think they're starting to show personality. And, I'm hoping they have a really great end to the season. And then that gives us so much confidence going into the summer, going, well, actually, we don't need another new position in this player. And, another, these players are going to be ready. This year is going to test them. It's going to prepare them, and they'll be brilliant next year.
So you've talked in the past about not being blinkered by a good run of form, on players when you're coming into the end of the season. So what do they need to prove between now and the end of the season that this is real and it's not, just they had a good run?
Stay in the team, play well every week, find consistency, show they're great teammates, show some bollocks, show some character, show some personality, show a lot of desire that they want it. And it's not just a flash in the pan. And play like that for the rest of the season. A lot of these players could have, like I said, we don't recruit players or bring them from our academy and put them on our first team. We don't think there's a player in there. Now, sometimes when it doesn't work out, it's because there is a player in there, but a player doesn't make the most of his abilities. And he maybe doesn't have the right attitude, or he doesn't have the right endeavour. And there's very few players we lose that go to other clubs and go on to the Premier League or go on higher. Very few. As much as you want to criticise us for signing, whatever else. But if a player we let go or move on, it's not usually way upwards unless it's for millions. It's to go back down the pyramid and rebuild their careers, because part of it was them not doing it themselves, because we always give them the platform. So I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing from a lot of those players, that the suddenly, and the other good news is the top players like your Hectors and your Archies have suddenly sprung into life, where they maybe didn't have their best first half of the season, are suddenly, in Malik as well, are suddenly now coming to the party in a big way. And credit to Hector. He's done that in a big way, and he's been very good the last 3 games. And you worry, okay, he's going to, wherever he's going in the summer, is he now going to worry about himself and making sure he's not getting injured? And I couldn't say that about the lad. He's putting his body on the line. He's suddenly grown up as a captain. I wish we could go back 6 months of what I'm saying, but maybe it's taking the 6 months to get there, So, no, really, really promising. But, we have to follow on. It can't just be a good 7 days. We need a good second half of the season. I've been saying this, since January. We need, great final end to the season. So maybe not, it's now the final third. So we now need to go in and dominate the final third, score lots of goals, play some great football, win as many games as we can, win that cup if we can, even though it'll be David Goliath again or whatever else, but there's no reason with a big pitch at Wembley we can't back ourselves to go anywhere and win. So, so it's been a really good week, but I want more. Now I'm like, give me more, and keep going.
Do you feel that something changed? I mean, that there was something that has clicked, or there's something that, that suggests this is more than a good week?
Yeah, I think before Huddersfield, a couple of days before, and I think the Charlton game pissed off me, and it pissed off the manager. The style of football was atrocious. I watched the game, then I travelled with my daughter to a college visit, and I left the manager saying, "Look, I'd rather be in League Two. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. I can't watch football like that. That's how we're going to play. you know, and he felt exactly the same. You know, we had a really long conversation, and he said, "Look, that's not how I want us to play. That's not." And I know he doesn't tell them to play like that. That's just
Yeah.
nerves. That's players, you know, insecure, low on confidence. And I think he had a meeting with them, and the penny dropped about A, where we were, B, who we are identity wise. And we went to Stevenage and we showed signs. We took that and went then to Huddersfield and won. We took the confidence from Huddersfield to Wrexham and went fucking 2-0 up, fuck you, we'll still win. You know, and then we took that into Shrewsbury. I thought physical team, a team that few people would think, oh, they might, you know, take out this young team. And although Shrewsbury were resilient and did really well and stayed in the game, we dominated the game as you would against 10 men. But we, you know, we just weren't polished in the final third. But as those players find their confidence and form, we will be polished in the final third, and you'll see a few bigger score lines. So I think they're the key things that have changed. And I think it's the players' mentality, the players all realizing the issues we have and where we are, coming together and realizing that it's not just about winning. It's also about what's Peterborough United's identity? How do we play? Do we play 4-5-1 and wait to break and nick a goal at the end of the game and try and just keep a load of clean sheets? And that's great until your fans turn off and stop coming to watch that. And some managers are losing their job over style of football. Are we going to go out with the ability, the talent we have, the pace we have, and go out and try run all over teams? Go out and try outscore teams. Go out and try and show people, actually, we've had a shit fucking half season or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we're going to show you we're better than this. I think that's a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. And so you've got Blackpool tomorrow as we record. You'll probably play that by the time this comes out. Wycombe then at home on Saturday, and Cambridge as your next 3 games.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's like at this stage of the season, whether you're playing Huddersfield in the top half of the table or Shrewsbury in the bottom half, it really doesn't matter. So, you know, you're just playing another 11
most teams
players.
are fighting for something, aren't they?
Of course they are. So you have to go out and basically be as good as you've been all season. And to win those games, we'll have to be better than we were the last 7 days. So that's just football for you. So, but I look forward to those games, and regardless of the result, I look forward to watching how we want to play and seeing some of these players come to life. And I'm excited by that, like, because we recruited some really good players in the summer. So I am excited to see them suddenly just flourish, and long may that continue. So yeah. Anyway, enough about Posh. Let's talk about your record breakers who are on their way to League One, and they're chasing down a League Two title, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down some stats, you know, from the current run. So since the last episode, we beat Bromley 1-0 away, which was, you know, one of those games where we probably deserved to win and just kept knocking on the door. And I didn't necessarily see where the goal was going to come from, but they just kept trying and trying. And we got 10 minutes to go.
Lovely.
And then saw that one out. So that was 1-0 away at Bromley. And then we had Salford away on Saturday. So started strongly. They got back into the game. They went 1-0 up. That was the second goal that we've conceded, since we drew 2-2 on New Year's Day. So, you know, we're not used to conceding in this run, but we got back, equalized, and then again kept going and going and going and going. And 93rd minute, you know, Michael Mellon, who's on loan right now, who, you know, lots of running and lots of endeavour, and missed a hatful of chances. And so, you know, you think that, I mean, he's missed a hatful of chances since he came in. He hasn't scored for us yet. And then up he popped with probably the scrappiest of the lot, you know, in the 93rd minute. And there you go, 2-1.
Classic promotion victories you're describing. Late goals, you know, just runs or wins, win any way. And it's just how you win promotion. Fantastic.
Yeah. So with those, you know, that put us up to second. I can't remember if I said this last week or not, but it's the first time we've been second post-Christmas since 1999 in any league. Jesus.
You're joking me.
Yeah, when we got promoted to the Premier League was the last time that we've been second in any table. You know, aside from, like, you know, the first 10 games of a season when everyone's just, you know, on a good run or not. So pretty lofty position.
I'm loving it, because rhythm on obviously X, Twitter, is, you know, lots of Bradford stuff come up. As I like lots of things that you put. I like lots of things, you know, people from Bradford. So I just get random Bradford fans. So I see it's like typical Peterborough comments, and it's great. All the statistics, I love to see the euphoria. And then I'm seeing things like, oh, they're different, these lads. Did 3 months ago, you were like, these lads are shite, and it's like the love is like, I love football the way it can change so quickly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked on the pod in December. We lost to Notts County and we're awful, and there were a lot of people talking about protests and sacking the manager.
Yeah.
And yet, that came from a ton of injuries, and the injuries came back. Well, what's been interesting, I think they've done what's really pushed them to where they are now is we had a really, really good January from a transfer window perspective.
Yeah.
Recruited really smartly, loan players who have worked out, who look like good loan players. We've talked all the time about the risks involved in bringing in loan players, and really recruiting a really strong bench. So that means, the run that we've had, the Saturday, Tuesday, which has been relentless for what seems like the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Every one of those games, we've rotated at least 3 or 4 players.
Brilliant.
And left people who should be in the starting 11 at home to try and manage everybody's minutes. And everyone that's come in, it's not really degraded the team at all.
Okay.
I saw the team sheet.
Yeah, sorry,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, I saw the team sheet for Salford and thought, that kind of looks like it's a second string, in some areas, but we still ground out a win.
And that's what you need, because it's going to get relentless again in like April and March, isn't it? Like, you got Easter weekends, you got a lot of back-to-back games. It's like, I saw and I looked at the table and I thought, Jesus, Walsall have had a wobble and you've just been relentless in the chase now.
Yeah, we're 4 points. I mean, I know there's games, others have got games in hand behind us.
Doesn't matter.
We're 4 points off the top and we're 5 points from 4th. So we're closer to the top now than we are 4th.
Lovely. And have you been, knowing you, have you sat down and gone through Walsall's fixtures and your fixtures?
I haven't yet. I've looked at ours.
Wow.
To be honest, so when you look at the last 10 games, we got 13 points more than Walsall.
Yeah.
So
incredible.
I'm not worried about Walsall.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it. It's in, we keep on this form, which is very hard. The form that we've had, 1 loss in 14, to carry that through another 12, 13 games. But you keep some of that momentum, and it's others that should be looking at stopping us.
Toney are relentless as well, aren't they? I think
Toney
got a similar record to you.
Yeah, they keep on going as well. I think maybe they've got 1 or 2 defeats more than us in that spell, but they've really been hanging around.
No, fair play to McCann and Co. I mean, they really have, since kind of December, January last year, they've been relentless.
Yeah, they didn't really stop after the run they went on last year to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just been mad. Who else is around you nipping at your heels for the top 3 that would give you fear?
Yeah, so when you look at the top of the table right now, so Walsall 67, we're on 63, Doncaster 61, and then you got Notts County 58, Wimbledon 57, Port Vale 56, Crewe 55. So that's the playoffs. I would say that with the form, based on the form table at the moment, I mean, it'd be hard to see Walsall fall further, but the 3 form teams are probably us, Doncaster, and Wimbledon.
Okay.
At the moment. Port Vale do have a couple in hand, and they had a bit of a wobble, and they've started to come back again. So, after running away with, I don't know, the first 15 games or so of the season, then they fell back, and they seem to be coming back. So,
have you got a favourable run in? Are you playing a lot of top teams or a lot of bottom teams or middle teams?
We're playing relatively favourable March, really difficult April.
Okay.
So you feel like you need the points on the board.
Put it away in March, kind of thing.
April, it's Notts County, Chesterfield, Doncaster. Do we have Notts again? And then Fleetwood last game of the season. It's something like that. So all the teams that are up and around pretty much in April.
And where's the Phil spectrum of game you're going to win promotion at? Have you had a look at the fixtures and the points analysis and how to pick one out? Which is the game? The 20,000 people storming the pitch.
Yeah, last game of the season's home to Fleetwood.
You'll be up before then.
But if we're up before then, there's I should have a look at the fixtures. For us, so this is it's the 40th anniversary of the fire this year. and it's
God
also
bless.
that was the last time we won a league title. So
That's mad. That's mad. You know, that's where you start believing in a higher cause. You know.
I don't know if it's written in the stars or something.
Yeah.
But they released the playoff dates this week. I think it's either the first or the second leg in the playoffs is on the day of the fire, the day of the 40th anniversary.
You won't be in the playoffs.
So fingers crossed that
Listen,
that we're. I mean, it's looking good.
You got to have a winner's mentality now. So you're the biggest club in League Two, so you got to close it out now.
That's what I've learned from you as well. Is you be confident in what you've got rather than looking around at people and being worried about what others are going to do to you.
Absolutely, you win promotions based on just that inner belief and that tunnel vision of get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. You know, so
the game to look at is Good Friday, home to Notts County.
Big crowd, lovely. That could be the one. You know,
fellow promotion contender, and then after. In April, it's Port Vale, Crewe, Swindon, Notts County, Chesterfield, Doncaster, Fleetwood.
Well, maybe you can like slide into your missus about a little Easter trip over for the family to the UK.
I need to come in the week before so I can get Swindon away and the EFL Trophy final as well.
There you go. Absolutely, a little prelude to when we try and do the three-peat next year against Bradford in the final.
See if we can hold up to our end of the bargain next year.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, yeah. Incomes, and that's what I'm getting at the moment now. Inundated about tickets. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, leave me alone. You know? Like,
so what happens after you win to go to Wembley then? Like in terms of prep and.
Yeah, you get obviously X amount of tickets. The Royal Box, the Bobby Moore. I also buy a couple of boxes because invariably, like last year, our players alone took, most of the Bobby Moore. We got like 150 in there and it pretty much went to so I have to look after the staff who weren't playing. They still played a part. The Royal Box is, me, family, directors, owners. It's you put a lot of people who are close to the club in there. Then you have other staff who are like, well, I want 5 tickets. And it's like, you can't get 5 tickets each. It's just impossible. Like in hospitality, it's impossible. So if you want to buy tickets in the normal end, fine. Birmingham will probably sell 50,000. I think they've been on the pads already about taking some of our allocation. They'll have so many. So there should be a 70. It should be a big crowd. And I think they said to Baz about as well, could they wear blue instead of us? And I think Baz says, look, for £1 million, anything's possible.
Right. I was going to say, sell them some tickets, sell them all these things.
No, well, obviously we don't sell all our tickets, of course, because it's Birmingham and there'll be a lot of their fans going there. And look, we're on half of the gates. So, I'd love our fans to take half of Wembley, but it's just not going to happen. So, but we got the toss in the semis to get basically the home team with the blue shirt. So then I pay for all our dressing room to be done like I did last year. Yep. I think Liz is booking the hotel, and I think all the stuff goes on in the background now. The team just focuses on the league. That's Liz texting me there. When's it good for a catch up regards Wembley? So that'll be, everyone wants tickets. So yeah, that I'm not. I've already booked flights for the family and done all that. Mrs. MacAnthony's already bought a dress and all the usual stuff you do like we did last year. So it's nice because to have my family, I had them last year at Wembley. So again, it'll be great. And so I'm not going to think about it until then. There's a long way to go, a lot of league games to go, a lot of form to, keep driving upwards. But yeah, it's exciting all the same. And, to be able to defend the trophy, to get our fans back to Wembley. Yeah, it's, it's lovely. And, I know it's been that kind of season, but again, still to give your fans that Wembley experience, to have a chance to win a cup again, it'll be our 3rd EFL Cup in 11 years, I think. I know people like to talk about promotions, but this is the FA Cup for the lower league teams.
Yeah.
So for a club our size to win that multiple times, with the promotions, it would be glorious. So, but let's not get carried away. We know we're playing, we know the job in hand, but let's see. So that's exciting.
Yeah, for better or worse, days at Wembley are what you remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a fan, you remember the lows of losing at Wembley, but there's little that beats the highs of winning at Wembley.
It's all about winning, baby. You want the ground to swallow you up if you're losing, so you just want to win. So you get there and you just want to win. I'm hoping Birmingham have just won the league and they're too busy celebrating. So that would be ideal.
Our last time we lost in the League One playoff final to Millwall, and Millwall fans made it horrible outside the ground beforehand, so you couldn't actually enjoy it as a day at Wembley because they were just all out for blood, and then they invaded the pitch afterwards. And then they won FA Family Club of the Year award, as their punishment for doing that. So that was our last time at Wembley, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a poison thing, or not poison, but it's like you want to go to Wembley, but you only want to go if you're guaranteed to win, particularly in the playoffs. You'd rather go up automatic second place, no big deal.
But if you could guarantee winning at Wembley to go up, there's no better way to do it.
That's the way to do it. And I've done that. We did it at Old Trafford instead of Wembley. Seeing it, that is the way to do it. It's like, to go through those emotions. So yeah, it's exciting. I see a few managers have lost their job now. MK Dons have fired the manager.
I mean, someone's been finding the fired button, haven't they, this week? So
yeah,
MK Dons have sacked Scott Lindsay, which is the second in a season after Mike Williamson.
Yeah.
Left.
When did he get there?
So Williamson, when did he leave? Like October-ish?
Yeah.
So it can't be that long ago that he got there.
Yeah.
And it's
a lot of players.
They're on an awful run of form, but they're not in any danger. And right. I thought he was a decent manager.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, that was really bizarre. And then I saw Wigan sack their manager.
Yeah, Wigan sacked Sean Maloney. Swansea sacked Luke Williams. That was before the last pod. Yeah. Tranmere perhaps finally sacked Nigel Adkins. They stuck with him for a long time until it's really getting real there, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. So it's amazing, really. When I saw those, particularly like the Wigan one yesterday, the MK Dons on the weekend, I was like, wow. Like, because I guess when you recruit those kind of managers who play such a certain style, it must be such a difficult adjustment with the players you've recruited, and you bring another manager in who maybe isn't at that style, but it's a good job. I mean, MK Dons it's a good job, like new ownership, great stadium. After you leave League Two, that'd be pretty much like the biggest club in League Two. It's a big old job.
Isn't it crazy when we look at how long a manager has been in a job now, and you look at it and think, oh, he's been there a year or 18 months. He's really, he's got some longevity, as opposed to he's been there 4 years, 5 years, and he's been around. Because I saw something this morning, and it was about the top 8, I think, in League Two, and when everybody was appointed, and everyone that's been appointed that's in the top 8 in League Two is probably 2023, maybe a couple of 2024s, but saying, they all went through bad spells and were kept on, and that's kind of been rewarded. But even then, you don't think a manager appointed in 2023 is someone who's been around for a long time, because it's still only 18 months in a job.
Football's mental. We've always said it's like 11 months is the average, I think, for managers. Yeah. It's just crazy. What else is going on in football that we need to
so sounds like someone a man after your own heart, Gerard Pique, saying that no one wants to watch a 0-0 and that clubs should get 0 points for a 0-0 draw. How would you take that rule?
I like the idea behind it. I'm a traditionalist, so I don't love that, because then it's
tinkering,
like, well,
right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I believe in what he's saying there, that nobody wants to watch a 0-0. Then I've seen as well the goalkeepers, 8 seconds or it's a corner.
Yeah.
That's going to cause a lot of bedlam. Like, can you imagine your goalie hangs on to the ball, they score from a corner, last kick of the game? I mean, you're like, you're going to be like, what on earth? I mean, do we start like in the NFL with a quarterback clock? Right, they have 24 seconds to snap. Do we put a stop clock on both sides of the thing so these goalies know? Because I think it's also unfair. How the fuck's a guy? 8 seconds?
Yeah, you can't expect him to count in his head 8 seconds.
That's what I mean. Shouldn't there be a countdown or something? Like, yeah, I mean, that's like, yeah.
I feel if you do something like that, it really should be something that's controlled outside of the ref for consistency as well. Yeah, because we all see how consistently, those kind of rules are enforced now, and not at all.
Correct.
Unless a ref wakes up one day and decides today's going to be the day that he's going to punish somebody for it.
Yeah. 100%.
A rule like that, I think, has to be controlled outside of the ref.
Yeah, don't love it. So I'll be in the goalie union on that one. I think that's like really harsh. Yeah, crikey. Any more new rule changes coming in?
Did you see the tackle? Talking about Millwall earlier, the tackle on the Palace lad at the weekend. Yeah, I mean, can you can you blame him for seeing the ball and going for the ball?
No, I don't. And I know people were emotional about it. I don't think any player, I hope no player that plays our game is in our industry goes out to hurt someone else.
Right.
I genuinely think when somebody goes in with a tackle, leg up to the knee, or to stamp on somebody, there's some wrong ones in football who have reputation and they play that way and do it. It's like John Marquis elbowing our player. I don't think he intended to elbow
it's
our
like
player.
his arms in the wrong place, kind
No,
of.
I think he intended to be physical and elbow him in the chest, because I think Shrewsbury thought, let's take out their number one, win everything in the air defender, and
Show
let's
them that it's going to
unsettle
be a
them.
fight today.
Right, and I think Marquis plays that role and whatever. But I think he's misguided where his elbow's gone and caught him right in the chin or wherever else. So the goalkeeper thing, it was horrible watching it back. It was horrible. I honestly think that goalie would be feeling fucking awful.
Yeah.
So thank God the player's okay, with a lot of stitches, obviously. But yeah, I mean, this stuff happens, and I've seen stuff happen in the game, and lots of it is accidental. And the player on the end who's delivered it will often come away feeling a lot worse than the player maybe who's had a bad tackle or a bad whatever else. You know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully anyway it'll die down.
What else? Your man Frank Lampard won again at Coventry, up to 5th in the Championship now.
Phenomenal. EFL Mason-Clark scoring again. He's back fit. Phenomenal. I mean, fair play to the owner. You know what I felt about Lampard? I wouldn't have hired him. He's absolutely flying. Really, really well done to him, and long may it continue. I've got a million reasons for them to win those playoffs. So keep going.
I didn't see. Let's see, Sheffield United. They won again.
They won.
So they keep on keeping on. There's a 5-point gap now between Sheffield United and Burnley.
Oh yeah, we need both of them we need a couple of million reasons for them to go up and have our cash flow deficit for next season taken care of before the season started. Yes, please. So incredible.
That's good planning if it all comes off.
Exactly.
I saw Ivan Toney's finally getting the goals in Saudi Arabia. Is it like 12 or 13 in 7 games or something like that? I saw this morning.
I had no idea. No, I hadn't even seen.
I heard anything of him, and then all of a sudden I saw.
I would expect him. I would expect him to be scoring a lot of goals out there. Jesus, I mean, he should be winning golden boots out there. So, I'm sure he's living a good life. I'm sure the wheelbarrow keeps getting bigger every time he gets his wages. Mm-hmm. And, the Brinks truck has been reversed back to the house, the gold bars. Good luck to
him. Derby now bottom of the Championship. So, Luton getting... not necessarily a good run of form, but they've drawn 2 and won 1 of the last 6 to get themselves off the bottom, and it's Derby now occupying that bottom spot. But it's pretty close, like 4 points between the bottom 4 and the Championship at the moment.
It's amazing how bad Christmas can just derail. I remember in England, I'd watch the Derby game. I think they beat Portsmouth 4-5-0, and they were like fine. They were like up there, and then they just lost 6-7 or whatever in a row. It really is mad, So I've got no idea how the bottom of the table there is dangerous for a lot of clubs. There's a lot of clubs that are, within danger.
Yeah, there's a little gap, but it's only a 3-point gap to Cardiff, and then you got Cardiff, Stoke, Oxford, Portsmouth. Portsmouth have gone on a good run, 3 wins in the last 4 to get themselves out of the bottom there.
Good. I knew they would. Good manager, good ownership. Didn't need to fire him, and he'll get them through. I mean, they'll be stronger for it, but. Oxford obviously, got beaten by Coventry. I don't know if they're having a wobble. And Plymouth obviously still have a chance. They obviously made some good signings, a good manager in January. So I don't know how it's going to play out.
And Plymouth put on a good showing for themselves, I think, at the weekend at Man City as well.
They've got a chance. They've got a serious chance. You know what I mean? So let's see now if they, do what they got to do. And Luton, there's no way they should be down there, but people would say the same about us. So this is football. So maybe they're about to find their form.
People get relegated that you don't think should get relegated. When we got relegated to League Two, it was our biggest budget in something like 7 or 8 years. But it's funny how in some ways budget matters because we've got a decent budget this year, but it is all about how you're spending it.
I saw something on Twitter. Somebody had asked me. Someone put up a thing on statistics on wages in League Two. You were second, and then put up on wages in like our league where we were like second bottom.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it. I pulled up straight away. I was like, it was really late out here in Dubai. And I'm like, that's a lot of bollocks. So I went
Yeah.
and got my spreadsheets from Dropbox where I have all the wage bills and everything else, and did it. And I was like, "Well, only is a load of bollocks. It's fucking miles wrong."
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know where that came from.
I know for a fact that the League Two one is wrong, and where we are in League Two is wrong, just by some of the others that are higher than us. So again, I don't really know where they pluck these numbers out there. Now, do you think we should have a system like the NFL or Major League Baseball where all contracts are transparent and you can see what everybody's earning?
I would have no problem. I don't think you need to do it individually for the players for privacy, but I would have no problem if there had to be a central website where everyone's wage bill for footballing and
Yeah,
football staff
like
was
collectively.
was was out there. Say
Yeah,
it 4 million or 6 million or whatever yours might be. I mean, I knew ours was one of the highest it's been for years. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why people taking the piss thinking we're, paying players 1,500 quid a week. Those days,
right.
I wish. So, those days are long gone. But I'd have no problem. I've always said I love the NFL system. I like the cap. I like everyone has the same amount of money to spend. I think it would be great to see, I don't know, Birmingham spend this, Wickham spend this, Peterborough spend this, and it's exactly the amount that is in the coded system for the EFL that allows
Yeah,
you to not be embargoed. All
yeah,
that information's in like an uploaded document that the EFL will have a thing saying, "Oh, Peterborough spend, I don't know, 80 grand a week in football related wages. Their cap is 81."
yeah. So it's showing
So
you your percentage
they
fee
already
where
they
you are.
already have it. They have the system. We have the formula system. We get all the time where you'll then get a note back from the EFL going, if you're thinking about registering those two players you've pre-signed, you've got like, a day to basically move someone off and do whatever. So it all exists. So I have no problem with the overall amounts for everyone being out there. I think it would be great.
Do you think that would help you in salary negotiations if all that was more public? Because agents are having to take your word for it when you say, "Look, this is
Yeah.
what I can go to because of the cap," and they can look at that as being, "Well, are they playing me just to try and get
Yeah.
me to accept a lower offer?"
Agents are always going to think they can get more and more and more. And I think agents, when I've said to them before, I can't do what you've asked. I wish I could, but I'm not allowed to. I've even said to them, I'll put you on the phone with the EFL. Like, I will put you on the phone with the financial controller from the EFL to tell you that I can't go an extra 250 quid that you want a week for that player. They won't register the contract. So, I've had that conversation many times with agents. Gone, you can call me a liar. You can think I'm hiding behind whatever else. I got nothing to hide. Like, sometimes I wish we didn't have that tightness at times when we really need to sign a player, we need to do something. So that's the beauty of our game. That's why I'm always astonished when I see some other people. I'm not talking about Birmingham here because I've already talked about them
Yeah.
spending money and rightly so, they're rebuilding. But other clubs in our league and some of the signings they've made and the money they've spent and gone, I'd love to have a look at their formula, to see how that all works. So
When you pay players off, does that money count towards
that, co-
your?
that comes off your cap.
Okay,
So if you say your cap's 85 grand a week with
yeah,
EFL and you're at 85 and you pay a player off who's on 4 grand a week, your
yeah,
cap space will go down to 81. You
okay,
will now have 4 grand in free cap space to go and sign a
yeah.
player or two players.
But the
So
lump sum that you paid him off that's not then
right,
amortized over,
right.
so it counts
It-
as part of it.
yeah, it depends on if it's over a period of time.
Okay,
So there's dispensation if you give them a lump, it can
yeah,
go towards an overall year thing instead of a weekly thing, so it opens up more
mhm,
space. You are correct, I am a bit wrong on that. So, if I go and give a player, he's owed 100 for 6 months, which is two and a
yeah,
half grand a week, and I give him
yeah,
50, grand of that, whatever, will come off. The rest disappears because he's not owed it anymore, he's just taking the deal. So you do free up that space. You are absolutely right. But if I'm paying him over 3 years his full amount, it will go in each year of your salary cap.
All right, let's see. I'm sure we had a question or two here. Let's see. John, you spoke on a recent episode about compensation for young players leaving. Would the club of the player who is leaving get a future sell-on percentage as well, or is it a straight fee with add-ons? So someone
Uh,
goes out of your youth system, do you
you
still
got to
get
sell on.
sell-ons?
You got to sell them. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the top clubs will try and offer 5 and 7%. We will fight tooth and nail to get a minimum of 15, sometimes 20.
Yeah,
So, fight. So just getting 5% what's that worth? It's
yeah,
for a player you've produced. So good
yeah.
question, John.
All right. Well, hopefully this time next week we're celebrating some more points on the board.
More Posh and Bradford doubles.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, many more.
One step closer, and that there's and this is where I try and channel my inner Darragh versus my I'm waiting for it all to fall apart.
Tunnel vision. Get prepared for League One. Tunnel vision.
All right.
Assume you're going to be there.
Mm-hmm. It's hard, but we're doing our best.
I get it. You're battle scarred. I totally understand, but assume the best outcome as opposed to the worst outcome. There's nothing wrong with having the cup half full instead of it being half empty. So on that note, Bradford Peterborough fans, thank you for listening. Let's hope you all have a glorious week together.
Yep, safe travels back home, or
thanks, Bob.
Enjoy your extended vacation if you win on Tuesday night.
I'll be here until Wembley. Hopefully.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll be back again soon. All right, take care.